Hi everyone, I'm Mark Rosenthal with you on this Monday evening. We are recording this Weatherblast forecast as of about 5:26 or so. What's a minute between friends, as they say? And I've been driving myself crazy all afternoon trying to figure out this storm because I'll be honest with you folks, there is a lot of bust potential on the table for this storm. Either going for too much snow or too little snow. It's very warm out of doors. I'm looking at my thermometer here in Newton, 40.5, and you must be saying, how are you going for snow when it's so warm out of doors right now? The cold air is going to come down from above versus having cold air all set in place. We'll get into that in a second. Anyway, let's check out the weather headline. We're sticking with what we've been talking about. A major storm is coming. It's already starting as rain. It will be flipping over to snow, probably in Boston sometime tomorrow afternoon. The earlier it changes to snow, the more snow we could get. Northeast gales over 50 miles an hour along the coast. It could be gust to hurricane force. That means the potential for some flooding at the time of high tide. There also could be numerous power outages, and where it stays all snow, there'll be well over a foot. Watches and warnings in the pink zone, just outside of 128 to 495, down through northern Rhode Island, northeastern Connecticut, points north and west. They're under a winter storm warning. In the purpley blue zone from Boston south and southwest, it's a winter storm watch, where you see the gold color up along the coast to Boston, coastal South Shore, including Cape Cod and the islands. We have a high wind warning. Again, I would not be surprised if winds gust to hurricane force in those locales. Nationally speaking, you look at temperatures, they're in the 30s and low 40s in New England. Yeah, you say, hey, it's too warm to snow, but other dynamics are going to be taking place. And there is some surface cold air back into the Great Lakes. Sault Ste. Marie is 26, International Falls 25, 19 in Minot, North Dakota. Some of that will be getting involved in the latter half of the storm. Look at on the bottom of the screen, at the bottom right, it's 81 in Miami. I know Joanne Mills is probably watching this, sitting on her deck, having a drink and laughing, saying, well, I'm not there. All right, let's put it in motion for you. You see the latest satellite loop. You see a big swirl coming into the Ohio Valley, another big swirl beginning to take shape off the North Carolina coast. That's going to be the main player as the energy from that swirl in Ohio joins the one south of New England. It's what we call balmogenesis, when the pressure falls very quickly in the course of 12 to 24 hours, and that's what's going to be happening here. Radar loop shows rain engulfing southern New England. You see rain coming up from the south, some snow getting involved now in southwestern Vermont, back into the Berkshires, snow back through New York State as well. And as time goes on, we should see more and more in the way of snow. So let me do it like this. I know these maps are a little bit convoluted and hard to understand, but this is valid for 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll have a surface low pretty far to the southeast of Cape Cod. There's an upper low to the left of that. You see the 500 millibar flow, and that's going to be digging southeast, capturing the surface low and intensifying it. So as we move along here, by 8 o'clock tomorrow night, the pressures are falling aloft. That's that chunk of cold air we talked about in the upper levels of the atmosphere, coming down from above, igniting that surface storm. They say at that point that this particular model has the low over the Cape. I think that's probably a little bit too far west, but it's possible. I still think the storm stays east of Cape Cod, and by that time we should be snowing at a pretty good rate by Wednesday morning. The low in the upper levels of the atmosphere, the 500 millibar low, continues to deepening the surface low and capturing it, slowing it down. So we still could be snowing at a pretty good clip in Boston and easternmost New England early Wednesday morning, finally pulling away by midday. And I'm still going to stick with the same snowfall map. I'm just going to talk over this a little bit. So I had the 10-inch line from Portland to Portsmouth to Boston. Within that, why don't we say something like 6 to 12 within that 10-inch line? And then once you get outside of 128, say 495 and beyond, there could be 15 inches or more. And then when you get into central Massachusetts, Worcester County, northern Worcester County, into southern New Hampshire, the Monadnock region, there could be over 2 feet of snow. South of Boston, coastal South Shore could see 4 to perhaps as much as 8 inches, including Providence to Cape Cod. But again, if it changes to snow too late in the game, you'll get lesser amounts. So let me come back and do this forecast on camera. You'll be happy to see me again, won't you? All right, so let's do it like this. For the balance of tonight, Monday night, it's just occasional rain getting steadier and heavier. It'll become windy, temps about 40. Tomorrow, soaking rain in the morning will gradually mix with and change to snow from northwest to southeast, with the snow line collapsing towards Boston. Early afternoon, the way I see it, temperatures falling back into the mid-30s, so it's going to be a heavy, wet, cement-like, pasty kind of snow that should last throughout much of tomorrow night, slowly winding down Wednesday morning. The storm will then pull away. So that's my forecast for now. We'll be here throughout the night. If I see any radical changes, we'll do another weather update. Otherwise, pray with me that my forecast is right, because I hate being wrong after 50 years of forecasting the weather. And oh yeah, there are times when I've had some terrible forecasts. All right, that's it for me. Have a nice evening. I'm Mark Rosenthal.